everybody. This is Brian Ankney with AutoSuccess Magazine. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody on the call taking the time out of the day to participate with this webinar. Today's guest is Gina Reuscher from Flick Fusion. She is the Director of Marketing at Flick Fusion. Today she's going to share with you some really interesting ways you can be more effective with video. But before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping things to let everybody know. If you have questions, we're going to hold them until the end. And if you look on that panel that runs on the side of your screen, you'll see the word questions with a plus sign next to it. If you hit that plus, it'll give you the opportunity to type in questions. And please type them in as we go. Type them in while they're fresh on your mind, and then when we get to the end, Gina will answer all those questions. Also, if you haven't yet, go to Facebook and join the group AutoSuccess Webinars. All you have to do is just type in AutoSuccess Webinars in the search bar, and Facebook will show it to you. That group is a great place to interact with our speakers, before, during, and after the webinars. You can also learn about future webinars and interact with each other. Hopefully everybody on this call is going to have some new ideas and new ways to utilize video to do better. And please feel free to share your videos on AutoSuccess Webinars. And so yeah, that's it. Gina, if you would please take us away.
Hi, thanks Brian. Thanks so much. I'm happy to be here. So first, I wanted to start things off by giving you all a little background on myself. Now I realize that I should have delivered this in the form of a video bio to drill down some of my later examples. So all of you on the phone, you can call me out on that later. Please do, and force my hand to get that out there and delivered to you. So I may have crossed paths with some of you in the last 6 to 7 years in the automotive arena. If so, hello again. And while the photo on your screen is from a few years ago, thanks for that, Brian. I look a little bit younger there. The details of my entry into the ad space would age me quite a bit. Prior to automotive, I kind of started out way back when the pioneers were starting out in search and email and affiliate marketing, where I was also pretty heavily involved in online market research and data collection, really the infancy stages of that. Worked my way up through the ranks with various product development, CRM developments, even before automotive, and legal compliance with marketing and email, then analytics and performance management, and finally then into sales, and really lucky to lead with some executive teams. I grew fairly organically. Like I said, was very lucky enough to transition much of my experience towards the auto industry in about 2010, I think, with the website team at Venn Solutions, before eventually directing their corporate marketing initiatives and doing the same for dealer fires and others up to and through their respective acquisitions. So what I've kind of found is that I kind of have a knack for and a passion for starting out with companies and from little known and creating them to the one in demand. So I've been the speaker behind many speakers throughout my journey and through meeting you, and I've been very blessed to have been mentored and to be able to mentor some of the best names in this industry. So now I just work closely with companies to try to help deliver an omni-channel approach to marketing with their brand and increase sales. So video marketing to me is just a natural evolution of this, and I'm excited to share some of my insights to that. So moving on, this is definitely not about me. This is about you and about me trying to throw down some knowledge from folks that are way smarter than me. But these are folks and their methods that I've tried, that they work, and folks like Pat Gardner, who echoes my own philosophy here in this quote. And I kind of bolded some of the key elements that I really am going to talk about today, and that's linking automotive demand with consumer sentiments and media habits is vital to developing marketing strategies that connect the right customer with the right automotive brand. Understanding the motivators, Pat says, of car buying intenders allows marketers to create messaging that will resonate strongly. And so right now, I think that's very relevant, understanding the motivators and what our consumers' media habits are right now. And right now is definitely video. So to get right to it and why I think this topic is relevant today, you know, we know that there's nothing quite like the freedom of owning your own car, and car buying is one of the, is definitely on the uptake. Thanks to a lot of things, I think. Online shopping technology is rapidly, you know, we know how rapidly that's changing. We're enjoying a lift in the economy and overall growing aspirations, I think, of people globally. So this is great news. This is great news for automotive. But understanding the motivational factors that's driving this growth and demand, I think, is critical to reaching the right customers. So I had to kind of laugh at this one. Does this look familiar to anybody? It's just kind of my own visual of why, despite right now doing more shopping than ever online, consumers overall are also more skeptical of the advertising they see. They're becoming pretty jaded. Served up this massive amounts of information from all angles, from all mediums and channels, with most of us on, you know, with our noses and our phones on technology overload, and announcing our emotional states and smiley faces, especially millennials, right? So this is why we become desensitized and like I said, frankly, very jaded to traditional marketing messages. Whoops, give you a little preview there. So I've worked closely with Nielsen in the past, in my before automotive past, and so obviously they're the best in the industry and highly respected, and they put out a study that showed that fewer than 25% of online consumers in the U.S. trust ads that they see in print publications. Now, when I dove into this study a little further, and I'll definitely give you some resources and links after this webinar, even more dire are the percentages of people who have faith in digital media advertising. So I was a little bit surprised at that. In a separate study done by Unruly, another ad agency, I think it's pretty alarming. 97% of internet users were found not to have complete trust in advertising, while half actually don't trust advertising at all. I think what that means for dealerships that are still promoting kind of the blowout sales and the monster deals and anything that just doesn't feel like it's interactive or engaging, your messages are probably being met with a healthy dose of skepticism and maybe even downright ignored. So finding a way to cut through the clutter is critically important. What's the best way to gain car shoppers' attention and their trust in today's market? Well, if you ask me, I'm going to say video, right? While people still trust TV ads over other traditional media, we know that that's changing. I literally just read a study this morning kind of showing that 2/3 of advertisers have agreed that original digital video programming will become as important or make TV irrelevant in 5 years. I don't know about that, but for right now, people do still trust TV ads over other traditional media. Then not surprisingly, just because of that format, video marketing is absolutely right now the #1 trusted digital ad format. Here's a few more facts about video I'm going to throw in for you. So like I said, it's the #1 searched media. I think maybe you know that's due to the high quality relevance and engagement, obviously because Google is involved, right, and because they say so. 59% of people prefer to watch video instead of reading text if both are on the same page. So when we're going through this and I get to inventory your vehicle details pages, think about that. So having the text and the video both is highly important because people prefer to watch the video if given a choice. So, and finally, what I'm showing here is most people retain 95% of a message in video compared to only 10% of what they read in text. So there's kind of an overlap there. I guess there's some super smart people in the world that retain it both ways, but 95%, I think that's critical for us to understand. I'm going to spend a little time here. I want to talk about the brain for a minute, so bear with me. What kind of got me started on this path is I was lucky enough to meet with Natalie Nahai. I hope I'm saying that right. Natalie, if you're out there, I apologize. Can't wait to talk to you again, but she's a web psychologist. Many of you may recognize that name. I met her through a colleague who was networking at MozCon a few years back. We collaborated with her, among others, on a white paper. And so while I kind of knew this in the back of my head, and so will you, I think my big takeaway that brought kind of all of my own experience full circle was that we have to understand, what we have to understand about is the psychology of decision making. And you can Google the emotional selling and some things like that and decision making. So the information's out there. I encourage you to do your own research, but there are a variety of studies that show us that it's inherently emotional, decision making, inherently emotional. Natalie actually demonstrated that fact when people have damaged part of their brain that processes emotions. They actually find everyday decisions difficult to make. So you can ask them if they want, let's say, an apple or an orange, and they're able to list the reasons why they should select each, and they can verbalize that, but they are physically unable to take any action, physically unable to make a decision if I want an apple or an orange. So what does that mean? That means emotions enable us to take action. We've got to tap into that. A study was performed where brainwaves were actually measured by an EEG for subconscious responses to communications. So this is an ad study. So advertising that generated above average EEG scores delivered a 23% lift in sales volume, where conversely, ads with below average EEG scores were associated with a 16% decline in sales volume. So think about that. If you just tap into that emotional value, you're going to automatically see a 23% lift. If you don't, 16% decline. That's pretty compelling. Another report from a UK-based advertising company, so they have 1,400 case studies of successful advertising campaigns. So their analysis, what they did was compare the profitability boost of campaigns that relied primarily on emotional appeal versus campaigns that used rational persuasion and information only. So the results were really awesome. So campaigns with purely emotional content performed twice as well as those with only rational content. And so those that were purely emotional also outperformed those with mixed emotional and rational. So what does all this prove? I'm kind of rambling here, and I'll stop with all the stats, and your mind is about to explode, I'm sure. So I think that it really supports recent findings, again, by Nielsen Holdings, that emotion is the key for driving success. One more stat, in fact, only 20% of our buying decisions are made based on logic and reason, 80% on emotion. So an interesting podcast I was listening to this morning also said, you cannot, I'm just going to read exactly what I wrote down, you cannot be in your feelings and be in proactive thought at the same time. So as dealerships and as marketers, I think that's interesting to think about. Also as a leader and as a person, right, that we can't also be in our feelings and be in proactive thought and move forward. So there's a time, absolutely, in the sales process to cut off that emotional connection. So, we're allowing our consumers to make a proactive thought and to move forward in the process. So we have some tricks on that too. So now that we know that, now that we kind of have a grasp on how the heart rules out over the brain, what does that mean for us in the business world? Well, according to another recent study that Gallup did, businesses that optimize this emotional connection outperform their competitors. They outperform them by 26, I'm sorry, it's right there in front of me, 26% in gross margin. 85% in sales growth, you guys. So you can see that emotion sells because it happens on a very instinctual level. People may not be aware of why they're buying, but they know that they feel really good about it, and they want to feel really good about it. They want somebody to connect with them in that way. So think as a dealership how you can be an adapter of this philosophy and use video marketing in your dealership to outperform your competitors by 85%. Video marketing has been around for a long time. Timmy James here initiated that movement back in 2002, but you are still an early adapter now in the automotive world. So think of what that can do and let you shine out from the competition. So beyond functional and practical factors with, financial motivators, I think we probably know that in the dealership world, a financial motivator is the strongest, like in the 90% range. But beyond functional and practical factors, the biggest trigger of automotive sales is absolutely purely emotional. And I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but this study showed that among existing car owners in the market to buy a car, 84% expressed a love of driving for the reason to buy their car. This is significantly higher than the desire to fulfill any kind of utilitarian purpose or to represent a symbol of success or status, like I just bought my new Lamborghini or whatever. Those rank way down in like the 63, 62, 60% range. I'm going to kind of circle this back to automotive because admittedly I'm spewing a lot of information and analysis that refer to large-scale advertising campaigns. Obviously we get our best learnings of what happens outside of our circle, but I want us to think about the industry that we are in. Buying a car is already one of the most emotional experiences of our lives. We know this. Some of us, this is why we got into automotive. AutoTrader did a study a few years ago. Again, you can Google that. I'll have the link for you. But they revealed kind of what we already know, that our relationships with our vehicle actually mimic the relationships that we have with people. They also found that women are more attached because of the way a car looks, while men bond with their vehicles because of the adventures and the memories that they shared with them. So again, when you're creating your engaging, emotional marketing message, think about those. Think about your target audience. There's lots more studies. That was just a fun one. So we all know this.
You owned your car for 4 years. You named it Brad. You loved Brad, and then you totaled him. You two had been everything together. 2 boyfriends, 3 jobs. You're like, nothing can replace Brad. Then Liberty Mutual calls, and you break into your happy dance.
If you sign up for Better Car Replacement, we'll pay for a car that's a model year newer with...
Oops. Sorry, guys.
You owned your car for 4 years. You named it.
Little technical issue there. Sorry about that. But, that just drills down my point that we get attached, right? That's what AutoTrader was saying. We name it Brad. They also quoted a life coach and relationship expert, Michelle Callahan. Again, she didn't say anything that we don't already know. She says the emotional attachment people feel for their cars is interesting, not surprising. We know this. She continues by saying, in addition to the large financial investment, a car can become a significant emotional investment. It's there with them for the major milestones in your life, like weddings, new babies, graduation, and literally is the vehicle that makes being physically present in these moments possible. So again, think about the industry and the opportunity that we have here. So I kind of jumped ahead, and this is going to allow us to circle back to building trust through video marketing. So we've already established people don't trust ads because they're just barraged with them every day. We're in the perfect industry to change that, and we have the technology to change that. So you see now, though, how the emotional message was conveyed in the Liberty Mutual commercial. That was far presented to you graphically better in a video than it was on all of my stats and all of my text and print. So we'll talk about how we can apply the psychology of tapping into those emotions on a smaller scale to your dealership's video marketing strategy. So here's the good stuff. Like I said, remember, we're wired to take action based on emotion. That's just a fact. In marketing, and obviously we talk a lot about calls to action. what do we want the customer to do? Including a call to action across the board in all of your marketing is important. Video marketing is no different. They should actually be consistent across your marketing strategy. So for every video that you create, I want you to first ask a question to yourself. And that question is listed here. What action do I want the customer performed at the end of this video? The second question to ask is, what do I want the customer to feel in this video? So every video that you're producing should have two ultimate goals. Number one, generate an emotion, and then tie that high power feeling to a specific action. You can use this little tool, 2 questions. It's easy, right, to create your calls to action for any of your marketing, but absolutely for video, because our goal is, especially with video, to connect that emotional value. So in video marketing, there are basically 2 actions that a customer can take. That's share and convert. Those are the 2 the number 1 things that we want them to do. So your dealership marketing strategy should include both types of video, and just be sure you're defining those first. So this is just a list of the most impactful emotional responses, and I'm not just going to leave you with a list of words, I promise. But so when we are going about getting people engaged and we know what our goals are, there are ways to use your language to create a message that is much more persuasive. So research shows, and as marketers, we already know this, it's just people, we know this, that if you create a positive emotional state, buyers' purchase intentions go up. They're going to mirror kind of the groove that they're feeling, right? So notice the words listed. They all lean towards happy, positive. Also, in order to support that positive emotional state, we must also build trust. So there it is again. We've circled back. We want to put them in a happy state. We want to build trust. As a side note, I got some feedback on this just the other day that when I'm talking about some of this, some of you may be thinking, well, isn't that kind of manipulative or deceptive? Listen, I think it's only misleading if you're using your language that's not authentic to you. And, if you're not using it as clickbait on your landing page, or if you're not offering some kind of value, or if you're over-promising or promising things that you can't deliver in your video, absolutely, stop that. That is kind of manipulative and deceptive, but when you are offering true value in the spirit of helping a shopper buy the right car as part of your sales process, you'd be doing that in person. This is just a way to reach them. Your marketing message now is working to the greater good, and consumers see that. All these research studies say they're looking for that. They want that. They see that your intentions are good. So to that objection, I disagree, and I'm happy to talk about it, later as well, offline. So for dealerships, the action goal of sharing, most appropriate for videos, I think, designed to promote brand awareness and to build trust, are most likely your dealership value proposition videos, some customer testimonial videos, and your employee profile videos. Now, I know that you probably don't have a library of these built up on this yet. You're just getting started, so you're in the right place. The easiest way to generate an emotional response with these types of videos is to tell a story. The purpose of all of these is to tell a story. Storytelling actually does the selling for you. It creates an instant connection. It's just like that. It's instant. Tell the dealership story. Tell the customer story. Tell your employee story. For each video, again, we want to define the emotional goal and also identify what the social motivation is for sharing. So we want to go back to those goals that we have. This will help shape the content of your video. So to go through these individually, your value proposition absolutely answers the why trust us and why buy from us question. And, this is just an example of one you might see. This is generic, obviously, but, some tips are to feature some friendly personnel. I think this is this dealership service department, and, they kind of had them all cheering and saying thank you for shopping with us, experience the dealership difference. Promote any positive ratings or awards that you might have. promote your community partners. Just just really, again, we're just welcoming them. This is the value proposition. This is why you want to buy from us. Testimonial videos, in marketing, they said, is always powerful than what we said. Create videos. When we do this, of course, we want to feature happy and loyal customers. I've got some tips for you to do that. And video testimonials are actually considered more trustworthy and credible in today's market than written reviews. Of course you want both. Of course you still want your reviews. Again, the whole idea here is to mimic the content and the text that we already have. But people feel like when they're doing an online review that anybody can write that may or may not be true. But when they see your face, when they can look in a customer's eye, it's word of mouth. And word of mouth marketing is still, that's the original viral marketing, is just one guy telling the next that he had a good experience. So, here's some tips. Again, this is just a guy who was happy to drive and save at Phillips Chevrolet, it looks like there. So keep it short, keep it to about 45 to 60 seconds. A good way to do this is ask them one question. Ask them what they loved about their experience. Ask them what they love about their new car. What feature do they like the most? Ask them if they, what dealership they would recommend. Just one question. Keep it simple for them. We don't want them to have to think about it a lot. I was in a dealership that I thought this was a great idea, so I just added this. Mount an iPad on the showroom where the customers can rave about you. I've been to events where they have those kiosks, and you're more likely to kind of push play and it go viral. It does not have to be that fancy, folks. This was just an idea that this dealership had, and I thought that was pretty cool. But definitely tell their story, not yours. This is not a sales opportunity. Again, the story does the selling for you. That's it. Just let it be in their words. Let it be very organic and very natural. Again, another tip that I didn't include here is they're kind of providing you with value. So, I wouldn't really call it incentivized, but, it's just good. They're giving you value. Maybe give them, return the favor. Maybe give them a discount or a free oil change on their next visit, or just something like that. I also want to iterate here that when you're doing any kind of video, that when you're doing this, that your energy and your excitement sets the tone. So if you can just get them excited about it, people are going to see that and may not even hear the words, but just kind of create that excitement. And it's exciting for them too, let them know you're going to feature them on the website, that you're going to put this out on social media so they can share with their friends. Like, that's free advertising for you. It makes them happy. Just creates that emotional value and that connection that honestly your customers are looking for already. So employee profile videos, I know this is kind of tricky for, for some of us to gather. It doesn't actually need to be. Here's a really good example here. This, I'm going to set this up. Actually, this video is promoted as a value proposition. You can see how the tone is kind of similar. It works both ways.
I grew up in the Texoma area. That's why I'm so excited to have gotten the opportunity to purchase this dealership and move back home. I grew up in Durant, Oklahoma, and Denison, Texas. Went to school at Denison at McDaniel Middle School. I think being a hometown boy makes all the difference in the world. I understand the community that I'll be serving, and I'll be serving my friends and family.
I just love that one. That one's on our blog too. TJ just did an article over that one, so check that out on our blog. Again, that was set up as a value proposition video, but they're very similar in tone. I also want you to note that this was done in kind of an interview style. This is very effective in a non-threatening way to kind of gain buy-in and get that staff participation. It introduces your employees to the world, though. Again, you can say, oh, I think what I've done before on my staff pages is put a picture and, a few trivia about that person. That's fun, but people really want to hear it from the person. People choose to do business with people they like. So create video bios that really enhance each personality. to increase the chances that it'll mirror that of a potential customer and that they can relate. Eric is a hometown boy, and who doesn't relate to that? I want to do business with him, absolutely. So again, they're ideal for conveying personality and character, which in turn builds the customer's confidence that they're making the right choice and doing business with you. Oh, sorry about this. There we go. So this is, again, a lot of words, and I'm going to give you better lists. I don't want you to get overwhelmed with all of that. These are the most impactful emotional responses for that conversion. So we've gone over the, the sharing aspect, and again, these are based on some, some A/B testing and some studies. So video can also produce a deeper funnel results. This list is actually from a book. It's called Hot Button Marketing, Push the Emotional Buttons That Get People to Buy. You can Google that. You can get it. I'll give you the links. He uncovered 16 emotional opportunities that drive conversion. We've used these. We do find that they work, and I'll give you some actual phrases to use around these. So, you can read these and see how some of these might be used. Let me just tap into maybe family values. One of the phrases I think that we've tried is, imagine your entire family on a road trip in this spacious SUV. Like, that was used right in an inventory video. So the person who is attracted to that family values aspect is going to be attracted to that. Or for sex appeal, those are always fun, right? Like, imagine how you're going to look in this car. This is a sexy car. You'll be the envy of family and friends. So, if you're not comfortable with that, find somebody that is, because, that's what attracts. That's what you want to put in your video. So, again, I'll give you a list of phrases at the end of the session today. I can't wait to hear back from some of you after brainstorming and see what you guys come up with and what you use, and to kind of see some of those. Again, these work. These work. So for dealerships, the action goal of conversion is most appropriate, like I just said, for inventory videos, for video emails, maybe the lead follow-up process. So as you sit down to create some of these types of videos, select, the most appropriate emotional opportunity from the list that we gave, and then tie that into the desired call to action, whether that's to make a phone call, to send you a text, to click through to a landing page. So use the list, come up with your message, tie it into what's most appropriate, and then circle back to your goals. It's really not that hard. I'd be happy to help you with that. So for inventory videos, for dealerships that are considering video marketing, maybe you're in the early stages of developing your strategy, we recommend at the minimum, start with your inventory videos. These are assets that you have on your lot right now to use. So inventory videos are a great way to attract and emotionally engage those car shoppers who are kind of in it for the emotional high anyway. The emotions that you want to generate will most influence the audio part of this, the voiceover portion of your videos. Let's face it, right? With inventory videos, there's only so much you can do with the lighting and the mood and the effects, and it can start to be like some of those overwhelming ads the consumers are kind of overwhelmed with anyway, and they can be cheesy. So don't play around with it a lot. This doesn't have to be complicated. There's technology out there that can actually do all of this for you automatically. So you don't even have to worry about that. If you are interested in a more custom, to generate an emotional response, focus on how the vehicle will make the buyer feel. In most inventory videos, the voiceovers simply recite some of the features and the data that the consumer can already see on the VDP pages. Absolutely important to also have that in your video. Again, they're retaining 95% of that. They're only retaining 10% of what they read. They're not even really interested in reading it. So, but if you can, and if you want to create a unique voiceover, that generates the desire and the excitement, and taps into that sex appeal of a car, appeals to the safety issues of the family values, you can really, really, really differentiate your dealership from the others. This was actually we just did a press release, I don't know, a couple of months ago. This was Gibson Truck World, our 10 millionth video. And, you know, this just is an example of how some of those, how some of that was used. And I might have a little difficulty here, but I'm going to work through it. If you'll bear with me, you guys.
Beautiful day here at Gibson Truck World. I got this amazing 2015 looking clean Ford. The XLT crew cab. You get that V8 0.0 liter. Ford muscle, 302 horsepower. Microsoft.
He's getting to the good part, I promise.
Cruise steering wheel control, power window, full on. Wow, Black Beauty is ready.
Okay, I'll stop that right now. But he already named the car, right? It's Black Beauty. It's ready to ride. And while this is exceptional, of course, he's been doing this for a long time, you know, you get the idea. Focus on how the vehicle will make the buyer feel. You know, consider a custom voiceover. Layering, you can also layer that. And introduce music. Definitely make sure that that you have the rights to that. You know, you can Google free, royalty-free music, but make it background noise. I thought that was fun how he incorporated that, just built that excitement. So again, that was pretty customized, but minimum, if you're just getting started, we recommend including stitch photos. Now, I know some of you are going to say, are going to question stitch photo effectiveness. We actually find that, you know, it not only overcomes the barrier sometimes of live video production when you're getting started, it also produces numbers over photos alone, like not shabby numbers either. There's an average of 75% completion rate. It increases time on your site by as much as 25%. So get it, you know, stitch photos have absolute value. It increases lead form conversion rate as much as 25%. Increases overall leads. This is including phone calls as much as 35%. And this is just kind of a picture example of keep in mind that you can also overlay audio, you can integrate your DMS and other vehicle detail information. So really make that movement. It's all about movement, making it interactive, and you know, trying to use your consumers, use all their senses so that they're retaining it, they're feeling it for sure. Lead follow-up videos. This is actually a great example. I'm just going to go ahead and hit play. You'll notice that she doesn't give away too much in text. I think this is from a Dealer Inspire website. They do an amazing job of having it all match. So the goal here is to get them to call.
Hi, good evening. My name is Gabrielle here at Delray Buick GMC. I wanted to take a quick moment and make you this personalized video email. I'm going to be the one helping you with your online request. I just left a voicemail for you. Call me back when you have a moment, please. My number is 561-278-3217, extension 2650. I'm going to be in the office till about 8 o'clock tonight. I'll be sure to follow up with you in the morning if I haven't heard back. Thank you again, and here's a customer review.
Okay, so again, we see how it's personalized. Now, this one is a little generic. You know, there's like an 8 p.m., good time to call. There's a 6 p.m. They all kind of look the same, but when it's texted directly to a customer or when it's emailed, and hey, when you do email it, be sure to use the word video in the subject line. That also increases your open rate, your click-through rate, your conversions. So, you know, when it's done directly to your customer, like that's pretty cool. Who else is doing that you know? So another trick is deliver it on a landing page that also includes your value proposition, your intros, your testimonials, and all of that thing. They really get a good feeling of who you are. All that's trackable too. All of that is information, gold. It's a gold mine there that you're getting. So And once you begin this process and have a series of videos created, you'll start to build a library. You'll have archives to use on multiple channels across all your current marketing. The idea is to boost this and to support your current marketing using the customer preferred method of getting information to them. There's end-to-end technology that exists, that hosts, that simulcasts this, that tracks all aspects of this, of your most valuable, your most valuable assets, your people and your inventory. So definitely use that to your advantage. So that is it. I've got a few bonus slides. I just want to remind you that creating a video strategy that ties to emotional responses, all of this great information that we've now learned, tie that to specific calls to action. This will help your dealership cut through that noise. Again, videos are the ideal medium for increasing brand awareness, social sharing, and conversion rates. Definitely incorporating the power of emotion in your video marketing program will help your dealership strengthen its bond with the customers, create brand awareness, create that customer loyalty, and absolutely increase your sales. So before I let you go, I don't know how much time we have, Brian. I can scroll through a few of the bonus slides.
Sure. Yeah, we have time.
Okay. And so again, these are just a lot of words, but I'll give them meaning and share this out. And absolutely, I am willing to and want to help you all create your video marketing messaging. So bonus list 1 is just 40 emotional responses to aim for in your videos. These are words that have been gathered by scientists to help take the guesswork out of persuasive language and just kind of help get your own creative juices flowing. And again, you'll see that these are all wrapped around, well, not all of them. Even these are converting. Cranky and grumpy, even those are kind of converting words. But I want you to think about using humor with that. Oh, and humor is listed twice, so sorry about that, guys. But combine these. Humor is one of the biggest converters, and happiness, and it just builds that trust. So here is, I don't want you to get overwhelmed by this, the wheel of emotions. You can Google this as well, but it just shows some of the well-known emotional layers. Remember, our goal is to keep buyers in that positive state of mind so that happy brains or happy hearts and kind of lend themselves to happy wallets all around. So your buyer will maybe open up their wallet and you'll get the benefit of that as well. So we're all happy together. So bonus list number 2, again, is just emotions and sample phrases for your inventory videos. I've also posted this on some forums around. I can't wait to, again, hear your own. These are just more words. They've been tested. They work. But we tried to come up with phrases specific to automotive, and here are, like I said, here are some of the winners. And I'm not going to read through those. You'll get this later. But again, it's feel free to brainstorm and come up with your own. It will take some practice to feel comfortable producing custom inventory video audio tracks, but I promise with time it'll become second nature. And again, once you get that library, you can reuse this. And so now I promise. I did the old bait and switch on you, the clickbait, huh? I promise I'm done. Again, these are just the tip of the iceberg, you guys. There are so many relevant topics to spin out here. I didn't really touch much on the technology integration, the distribution channels, the simulcasting, and the gold mine of data and insights that video provides on an end-to-end platform for sure. Into every single, the big thing now is the micro moments on your car buyer journey. So these fit in to every single one of those. Didn't get to touch on that. So as the current medium of choice, just imagine the lens that video gives you into the absolute psyche of your shoppers, both on and off your website and throughout your other digital marketing paths, just to set that up. So yeah, until next time. Thanks, and again, please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or ideas, and back to you, Brian.
Okay, thank you, Gina. All right, now if anybody has any questions that you'd like to Gina to answer right now, please go to the question section. It's near the bottom of the bar on the right side of your screen. Just hit the plus sign, that'll open it, and then you can type in your questions. Also, please feel free to to contact Gina or myself with any further questions afterwards. Let's see, we have one here. Let's see, any chance you are using Articulate Studio 2013 for your videos?
I am not sure of that. I can follow up. We kind of consider ourselves Switzerland. We have so many partnerships and really great partners that we work with. I wouldn't doubt that. TJ, are you on the line? Do you have an answer for that?
The short answer would be no, we're not.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. Can you give an example of using memories with car video for men?
Oh gosh, that's a good one. I love that statistic, and especially that Liberty Mutual I think is a great example for women. She named him Brad. That's kind of what we do. But depending on the information and the data you've gathered on that specific car buyer, again, we're using this kind of in conjunction with a lot of other methods. Like we saw the Gibson truck auto where he was like, Black Beauty is ready for a ride. If your guy is, had a Mustang in the past and he's looking at a Mustang again, like, roll back to those memories of, your hot rod or American muscle car. If you know that they're switching vehicles, like maybe he had a Mustang and now he's looking for a truck, I would still reflect back on that memory of the good old days and the muscle car, and now we're getting a grown-up beast, right? Now we're getting the Black Beauty that's ready for a ride. We're growing up a little and moving up in the world. So then you're kind of tapping into that kind of status. Again, it's kind of that tip that I gave, kind of customizing it to what's appropriate to your consumer, but it doesn't even have to be something specific. Just roll back. I think that we all can kind of assume the adventures and the memories we had in high school or college in our first car. Like, just mention generically, remember that feeling you had with your first car. Well, now it's time to step up in the world, or now it's time to, how are you going to feel? How awesome is it going to feel to recapture those memories again? I think that's a really, kind of a really fun one there.
Let's see. Any data on what millennials enjoy watching?
Not specifically. I think that, I would love to know what age range. I did just read a study just 2 days ago about millennials, but period, they are the ones lifting those numbers. So they absolutely prefer to watch video. They prefer to get it directly. Not necessarily, I just read, what did I read just a couple of days ago? The live streaming video, like actually doing FaceTime with somebody, they're not, contrary to popular belief, video actually is a preferred method because it doesn't really put them on the spot. Like, they watch it, they have time to formulate the questions. But no, I don't have any specific numbers. I am actually going to dig into that now because again, just 2 days ago, I read something about that, and I'm fascinated by that as well.
All right. Please explain and give an example of social motivation to share.
I'm not sure I understand the question. Give an example of social motivation to share. In that list of words, I think the kind of tapping into that emotion, persuasive language to motivate somebody to share online. I think a great example, and I don't have that in my phrases. We haven't really tested that one, but one of the phrases, I think if you'll remember, was, I think I can look at it. It was, how good it makes you feel, especially status, or again, we're speaking directly to the customer and we're showing an inventory video or we're doing an introduction. That would be more of a follow-up call. But asking for the sale or the share is not necessarily a bad thing. So you've already tapped into their emotion. Like, think of how awesome you're going to look. You're going to be the envy of your friends and family. Now go tell your friends and family about it. Go see what they think. putting that into your call to action, asking for the shares, like asking for the sale. So, you know, I think that's a great example of how you can motivate somebody to share is first build them up. So the desire to look good and to your friends and family is very, very, very high motivator. So just building them up and saying, you know, go ask other people. Don't ask my opinion. Now go share this out and ask other people. So I think that's a great example.
Perfect. I think that's our last question. Gina, thank you for taking the time to share all this great information with us. If anybody,
yeah,
if anybody would,
thanks, guys.
And if anybody would like, you know, go to AutoSuccess webinars here in about an hour. The recording of this will be up there if you would like to share this with someone else in your dealership. Also, if you would like to contact Gina or myself with any questions, please do. Gina, would it be all right if everybody just contacts you if they want the slide deck?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay, perfect. So that's what we'll do. I appreciate everybody coming today and taking the time to learn. Gina, I really appreciate you taking the time to present. And yeah, please join us in the future. We plan on we do a lot of webinars at AutoSuccess. They're all educational, and please join us in the future. Is there anything else you'd like to leave our listeners with today, Gina?
No, I just really appreciate your time, and you know, look forward to speaking with each of you and brainstorming some more. That was fun.
Well, great. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, everybody. I hope to see you at a future webinar.
Bye-bye.